Good morning, guys. Good morning once again. Welcome to South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. We are on the last mile to that 5,000 subscribers mark, and when that happens, I'm going to be on camera to show appreciation for the people that have been supporting my channel, and that's my subscribers. Thank you guys very much. Your support really goes a long way. So the topic of this morning is that relationship between ACT and the Democratic Alliance, which might lead to the demise of the Democratic Alliance. Hear me and hear me out. The ANC is on survival mode. They want to come back on top so they can govern this country 100% with 2/3 majority. So with ACT behaving like that, it is going to be very important how the Democratic Alliance react. You know, so far, I would like to say John Steenhuisen is trying. But you see, he is not the only leader in the Democratic Alliance. I want to show you something, what other Democratic Alliance people are saying. And before we enter into this, please do understand that I'm not a politician and I do not have deep knowledge in politics. However, I am a South African citizen who's also a voter, very important, who is also a voter. And it is based on what we see that we choose who to vote. We no longer vote blindly because we like a party. Yes, it happened from the elections that we're coming from, but we are wiser. We are wiser than the ones who first voted. Now, when we go into this, I want you to hear, firstly, I want you to hear what ACT said, and hear the person from the Democratic Alliance, how they reacted, and I still have more to say on the topic. And I also want to share the story that I wanted to share with you of racism that I saw like 2 days ago. There are a lot of cases. I'm going to share a few cases that happened to the people that are close to me. So for ACT to say race is no longer a big issue in South Africa, my goodness.
It's been revealed on extravagant dinners and salaries, and rather 22 million on a flag. And then when they are challenged on this wasteful and expenditure and on corruption, they laugh about it. The millions of South Africans are suffering because they can't afford food, because the prices are going up, petrol prices are out of control, unemployment is at levels never before seen. That is the real problem. But the problem when it comes to social cohesion is the fact that the politicians and the politically connected elite in this country want to make it seem as if race relations are horrible, and want to make it seem as if racism is the biggest problem in this country when it is not. But they want to do that. You want to know why? They want to do that because if the masses of this country that are impoverished and unemployed don't blame white people, they will start looking at those that have exploited them and that have been corrupt at their expense, and those people will then know what will be done to them. That is the problem. That's why social cohesion problems are arising in South Africa, because the politically connected elite and politicians of this country want to make racism the biggest problem and want to make as if race relations are horrible. That is not true. If you talk to any person on the street, if you talk to regular South Africans, they will tell you their biggest issues are unemployment, their biggest issues are getting education for their children, and their biggest issues is putting food on the table. Okay. That is the big problem, and we can't solve that if we focus on problems that are not the primary issue.
Yeah. Okay, this person has made some valid points about the ANC, the corruption, the way they wanted to spend 200 million on a flag, which is true. The part that I don't like about what he said is when he is trying to trivialize the racial issues. I'm going to share the story. Race is still a very big thing in South Africa. Racism is still up there, very up there. I experienced something about 2 days ago. I was like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I couldn't. And I have lots of stories to share within this video as well of racism to the people that are very close to me. And somebody can come here and say race is not much of an issue. No, because you are receiving the better side of it. You are receiving the better side of it. Racism is equally a problem in South Africa as other problems that are happening in this country. Now, the person who's saying race is not that much of a matter in South Africa, right? This is the same person that they've gone, his organization has gone to America and said the things that they're saying about South Africa. From there, ACT does not look good. It really looks like what Julius Malema has been saying for so many years, that it is there to protect the supremacy of white people. And Donald Trump has been accused of that for the longest time. So for them to find a comfortable space in Donald Trump to go there and lie there in America and give us the chaos that we have now in South Africa, and they have this relationship with the Democratic Alliance. I don't want to start from the beginning and be bringing that video, the interviews of AFRIFORUM going on and on and on with the lies after Donald Trump said what he said, them calling for the ANC leaders to be sanctioned by the American government. I don't want to go there because it is, we all know it by now. If you don't know it, you can look it up from other channels or from any other source that you can find it in. So now, I want to share a video of somebody from the Democratic Alliance, how they responded to the AFRIFORUM issue. I just want to show you. See, this is where the Democratic Alliance is like messing up their potential of growing in South Africa. As me, like right now, as things stand, because of what happened with AFRIFORUM, South Africa, Donald Trump, and all of that, there is no way I would vote for Democratic Alliance. There is no way. The Democratic Alliance is good with administration. But for me now, I started asking questions. How much of the Democratic Alliance aligns with what the AFRIFORUM stands for? How much? Those are the questions that I have. And I've been wondering for so long why the Democratic Alliance is not out there fighting racism. Because the Democratic Alliance, it is not a secret that it is a predominantly white party. So imagine a party like that fighting racism in South Africa. Imagine the changes that we can have in this country. So I just wanted to hear what this person from the Democratic Alliance responded to this.
Camp, I'm going to start with you. How would you respond to a critic that says the Democratic Alliance is no different to AFRIFORUM in this matter?
Well, Collier, I think it's firstly very important that we state to the viewers at home what's going on here. The President of the United States made this tweet because he was worried. He's got advice and he's worried about what's going on in South Africa with certain things that's been put into legislation. From the Democratic Alliance's side, we said from the beginning that we are opposed to the Act in its current format and that we will go to court to test the constitutionality of certain items or certain clauses in this Act. I do not know what AFRIFORUM has done in this regard, but I think any civic organization has got the right to speak out if they do not agree with something that the government is doing. And if AFRIFORUM then speaks out on this, then it is their absolute right to do so. I think that they, in a certain sense, has definitely got reason to worry about what was done here. The Democratic Alliance made it clear from the beginning that we've asked the President to send this bill back to Parliament so that the clauses that there were constitutionality problems could be ironed out. The Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, Dean McPherson, also obtained a legal opinion, which he provided to the President in order to advise the President, but the President chose to ignore that, and that is very unfortunate. Yes. This could have been sent back to the Parliament. Parliament could have amended those clauses that there are constitutionality problems with, and nobody would have worried about this. Unfortunately, the President chose not to do that, and we now have to make sure that we can show to the American government that South Africa is going to address this. I can assure you, Collie, that within the GNU, the Democratic Alliance is already addressing it, and we hope that we will get to a point where we can find each other on this point. Hopefully, the courts will give a judgment on the constitutionality of this, but we can also take amendments to Parliament to get.
Now, did you hear how that man responded? He did not criticize the AFRIFORUM. He says they are within their rights to do whatever that they did, whatever, and moved away from it and focus on what the DA has done without spending time criticizing the lies, the actions of the ACT-Afriforum. He did not do that, because he's trying to protect the relationship between the Democratic Alliance and ACT-Afriforum, or perhaps he's protecting what they both believe in, both as the Democratic Alliance and ACT-Afriforum. So when you look at this, you have so many questions that, as good as the Democratic Alliance is when it comes to administration, are they worth it? Like having them as maybe the majority leadership in South Africa. Like, why must I give my vote to the Democratic Alliance? Why? Because now for ACT-Afriforum to come out and say racism is not a serious matter in South Africa, it's a problem. You see, if you are listening to this, I hope people will listen up to here, because sometimes people get bored of the video and jump out before they can hear everything. But I want to show you the other side. He said, that guy from ACT-Afriforum said, the ANC is ignoring the fact, is trying to run away from the fact that South Africa now has high levels of unemployment. People are suffering. People are going through extreme poverty. See, also racism contributes to that. The ANC is even more guilty of leading us to those levels, and racism contributes to that. I just want to share with you some stories, from people directly from my own family. First of all, I just want to share a story. Somebody in our family, a very young person, very, very, very young, quickly went through to school and then became an engineer. Imagine you are 21, you move into this space of civil engineering. You are excited. You passed very well, even in your schooling. You are good, and you enter into this space, right? They realize that you are good. They deprive you. You go into you work in a company that is led by majority white people, to be specific, Afrikaners, right? And then you are there. You are working, you are out there. They try to kill that agility in you, that eagerness to be somebody, that eagerness to excel. They say, I don't even know how to tell you the story, because now I'm getting emotional, right? Not emotional, rather angry. And then this child goes there on site. They have their accommodation. Suddenly, this white lady comes to live with them from another office, from the very same office, from Gauteng to wherever they were, where the site was in another province, which I'm not going to mention, because I don't want people, just like in case they bump into this video and start causing problems for other people. So now, this lady that came in to join these young kids, because they were two of them, both young, both 21, black girls. They were there. She came, old white lady, a white Afrikaner lady, let me be specific. She goes there, and she doesn't really have the education that backs her up to be participating in this, but she's there anyway. And then when she gets there, these are the things that have been separating the Democratic Alliance from, and even considering the Democratic Alliance to be the party that I can vote for, because I've seen the work that they're doing. But now I think that there's a lot behind the Democratic Alliance because of ACT-Afriforum, this ACT-Afriforum. Now, fine. This lady comes in, she doesn't buy food. Maybe we'll say, it's food. It has got nothing to do with racism. She eats all the food that the kids have bought here, brings over her other white friends, and asks her colleagues, because they are young, to cook for her friends who came here. Which food are they cooking? Her food. When something, you are new in the field and something like this happens to you, you don't even know how to react in a manner that will protect you, because you are far from home, even far from your normal and work environment. Basically, you are in the wilderness. So what this lady would do, that's the worst. That's when this other one phoned me, and I told her, you know what, say no. If she puts her washing into your washing, take your stuff only and hang it and leave it there. Her own, when she comes from work, she'll find the stuff there. So what she would do, they would be doing their washing in the washing machine, and she brings out all her dirty underwears and put in there to get and put in there, and she expects them to hang her underwears just to take care of her for no reason at all. For no reason. That's another form of racism. They were so upset when this other one phoned me. I was like, you know what, you cannot go on like that. You cannot. Let all hell break loose if it has to. Just don't do it. And then that got transferred to the office, the site office now. Because I think the news reached the powers that be there, that they are rebellious in that accommodation. They don't want to take care of the madam. What they did, they deprived them of the work that improves the skill that they've acquired from school. They started doing admin. That's another one. Number 2, that person I'm talking about, because now there is no way I can be talking about this. I'm gonna keep saying a person. That person I'm talking about is my daughter. She was like 21, right? And then when she got there, they started calling her the drafts lady. The person who are in the engineering space, they know the difference. And she felt so suffocated there. She couldn't stay. She found another job somewhere, and she's very happy there. And even the girl that she was with, they were both the same age. They both left. Do you understand? Do you understand how these things are done? And somebody comes here and say the race is not that much of an issue. Imagine now if they didn't get the job somewhere else. They would leave that job and go stay at home, increasing the numbers of unemployment, adding more to poverty. For us to fight unemployment in South Africa and the levels of poverty, it needs everyone. It's everyone's responsibility. Okay, I'm going to come to the second case as well. Somebody from our family she got a job. That one is in tourism. She got a job, fine. I don't want to say much. And then they changed. They said, no, this is the remote work. You're going to be working from home and all of that. She was like, no, I'm going to take this job because I have a family. It's going to be easy for me to spend time with my family and all of that, because also my child is very, very young to get. And this job was in another province, but she was going to work from her own province. And maybe in 3 months she would go to that province, to the office and whatnot. And they switched up on her, and somebody told her in advance that, you know what, they actually want a white person in that position. I don't know how we're going to navigate that space. Many people have been coming to that position and they never lasted. When she was in, she is good. I'm not trying to exaggerate. She is good, great at what she's doing. But they found ways to force her out. Never in a single day was she ever accused of being incompetent. She was told, look, now you're going to have to come and work in this province. Knowing very well that what happened, they wanted to make it look like she chose not to come. They wanted to put the blame on her that she won't be having this job anymore because it's her choice. It was her choice. They said, you know what? You're going to have to come and move to this province because now that is a new position. girl, please, we know racism exists, just more sophisticated. Said, okay, you're gonna have to move to this province, and you must know the province is very expensive and it's in the remote area. This person does not have a car, which means she has to use an Uber. They said, we are not going to even transport you from there. Yet when they called her to that office to be orientated and all of that, they booked for her to go there. Now they are moving her from the place that they agreed on, but this time around they are not accommodating her. They pushed her to the corner whereby the decision was hers to say, you know what, it's okay, I loved the job, but I cannot take it. That's another one. There are lots and lots of cases like this. Imagine doing a project, starting the project from the scratch. You do it, and when it's time that is close for a handover, they bring in a white person to finish it off and sign it off. By the time the project is handed over, you look at the credits, you look who did what, you find no black person is there. Yay! Aye, guys. You see, it makes me ask myself a lot of questions about the Democratic Alliance because of that marriage. And they didn't come out right and condemn ACT. You know what this does? All this land issue, your Donald Trump, your ACT and whatnot, it puts black people in South Africa back to the spirit of 1994 when they were first voted. You see, the ANC might just get that 2/3 majority that the Democratic Alliance so dreads. The ANC might get it, and I pray when they get it, they do right this time around. All right. Now, when you're looking at these things and somebody comes and says, there is no racism in South Africa, as we experience it, we have a different story. And I want to share with you the story that happened about 2 days ago. Now, they are friends of mine, a couple that are friends, is friends with me. So I went to visit them, right? They are living in this new complex now. I went to visit them because we had no power this side. So I had to take everybody's laptops and whatnot and go charge in their house because their side had electricity. So I went there. Now when I got there, they told me about their experience. Mind you, this guy is Indian and the girl is Indian, is combo Indian and black, you see. So they told me the story. So like, no, the racism that is in this complex, you cannot believe. I was like, as they were telling me, I took it and I didn't really like take it because the community that we live in here, I haven't experienced racism as a person in this community. Yes, there are other people that have been complaining, but as an individual, I didn't. So they tell me, they say, when we are not here because they are not happy with our presence, said when we leave because our tap is outside, they go in there and open the water so that when we come back, the water has been running so that our bill can go up, and maybe trying to fight our affordability of this place, right? They were telling me these horror stories. Like they would come out and stare at us for nothing. And then my friend, because I'm friends first with the lady, he said, you know what? They even asked me where we came from and whatnot. He said, no, not in a right manner. Like, oh, where do you come from and whatnot? Like, I wonder which rock you came out from. That was the kind of way of asking. So it was raining and I was like, you know what? I love rain. Let us sit in the veranda so that we get to see and whatnot. Then we sat there, right? And I was facing, where I was sitting, I was facing the side of the house of the family that they were complaining about. And then suddenly, this guy comes out, stands like that side of the fence. But you can see the fence is not that high. And He was staring at me. Like, you know, if you ever watched that movie, Get Out, it gave me those vibes. Like, he's not greeting. He came out and stood there. And, you know, that dead stare. Like, the person is disgusted. Why are you even there? And then they started to explain to me a whole lot of things that are happening to them there because of race issues. So you cannot trivialize race. You cannot, especially in the workplace, even in the business place. It is easier for somebody that is white, especially like people from ACT to say racism is not much of a big deal in South Africa. It's there, but it's not much of a big deal because they are not experiencing what we are experiencing. Most black people, when they meet white people, they are overly nice. Overly. When I say overly, even to the levels that are not necessary. So they are not experiencing what we are experiencing from them. So anyway, guys, that's my chat. That if the Democratic Alliance is not watching their relationship with ACT, they are handing over that 2/3 majority over to the ANC, like on a silver platter. Because as things stand, every South African, especially black South Africans, are angry at ACT. Even some white people are angry with that ACT. So it is going to be very important for the Democratic Alliance to deal with their issues with ACT so that there is a clear demarcation that shows that these are the views of ACT, these are the views of the Democratic Alliance. As things stand right now, they are one and the same thing. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching my videos. This is South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here.